Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. We thought we'll throw a nice little review show for you. Nice, relaxed, chilled out show. We're not thinking about no matches. We're not thinking about any badness. No negative vibes here. Just all positive stuff. Can you believe it's been 26 days since we were officially crowned champions of England? Nearly a month, but it feels like it was yesterday for me. And for this nice review, I've got two legends with me. I've got Brian, the Banker Basher Haley. Brian, how you doing?
Yep, I'm good, Mike. You know what? I'm that relaxed. I'm on the recliner tonight.
Good stuff. Great to have you here, Brian. And obviously, see him and Neil have got they got the memo in terms of the shirts, and I didn't as the host, which is really bad, poor form. And I've also got for the last time this season, but not for the last time ever. For the last time this season, the most dangerous Arsenal fan alive, the Arsenal Jason Bourne, the Arsenal John Wick. Neil Shaw, how you doing, man?
I feel like a champion, mate. I'm very well. How are you? And how are you, Brian? Champions?
Yeah, good, Neil. Very good. Yeah.
Good. Feel like a champ. Every morning you wake up, you just want to parade down the street, holding the trophy aloft, wearing the crown in your head, doing that little strut, Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you, gents, for coming on. Thank you for everyone joining us tonight. Going to be a nice sort of relaxed one, as I said. Nice vibe check on how we've been feeling. Obviously, it's I think we're supposed to put the show on last week, but things got a little bit on top at home and at work. The missus had a Arsenal sort of dinner for doing 100% of attendance in her role at Arsenal. And she happened to get a photo with a particular trophy, which they brought along. So she got a nice picture with the Premier League trophy. So good on her. And yeah, it was just a bit too much for me to do the actual show, so pushed it on for tonight. But yeah, we're going to go through just basically how we're feeling afterwards. Reflect on some moments of the season. I've asked you guys, to pick out some bits and some certain questions. And and we'll just let it flow as normal. But thanks for everyone that's joining us tonight. And obviously Neil's dropped in the chat. Champions of England, Joe Hart. Yeah, great to see him on match day a couple of nights ago. First time I've seen him since he had almost that meltdown when Rooney sort of triggered him, when he was basically saying that he thinks Arsenal are going to win the league, and he just had that absolute meltdown live on TV, and wasn't seen until like a couple of days ago on match day. So great that he's well. Let's see how he feels when he does his predictions for next season. And obviously, if his beloved Man City are actually in the actual division, let's see. Might be. But we'll go on to that in another show. Dan, how you doing, mate? Great support of the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. Dan, hope you are well as well, my friend. Let's get into it then. Neil, it's been obviously, like I said, 26 days since we last won a trophy, and it's a bit of a the amount of stick we've got over the years for not winning a big trophy. We finally got it over the line, and obviously since then we've had the Champions League final. We'll brush on that, touch on it a little bit. Big up to the guys for the achievement for getting there. Heartbreaking way to lose it. But obviously, we saw the response the following night with the parade, and obviously we'll go into that as well. But just how you're feeling. I know you said you're feeling champion, but just encapsulate just how you felt over this last month since we've done it. Your emotions and everything, and how you've been, man.
Kind of feels surreal still. It's because it's been so long. It's still sometimes a bit hard to believe. So I kind of remind myself by watching little snippets of the celebrations on the pitch, the on-pitch celebrations with Arteta doing his little twirly thing, and and Rice, and the crowd singing, it isn't done, or it's not done, and all of that kind of stuff. And it just reminds you of how amazing it was for finding a club which has struggled for whatever reasons, and has had so much external abuse, if you like, from pretty much every non-Arsenal fan, every pundit, all the media, anything they can get to try and put a dampener on our progress over the years. And even after winning, still trying to muscle in with some rubbish and nonsense about how we may have gone about winning it and how it's been the most boring league victory ever in the history of everything. And it's like, you know what? And then I look back on that and I think, well, actually, that makes me even happier because we live rent free in all your heads, and we are crying. You're crying those tears of our success, and we're just drinking them bottle by bottle, consuming them by bottle. And I don't really want to give that guy any time on there, so I won't mention him to much extent. Obviously, I have not mentioned him, but you know who I'm talking about. And it's almost like, I think you need to rein yourself in, and everyone like him needs to rein themselves in and really applaud what has happened here, because you've got to remember that Arteta hadn't had any managerial job before this. It's his inaugural managerial job, and it's taken a few years, but he's actually got a team together, which for me reminds me a bit of the George Graham team, and also a bit of the Wenger team mixed in. You got the foundations of the defense, and then you've got that bit of style and finesse that the Wenger era brought us. And I think he's got the balance right. It's taken him a bit of time, but he's finally got the balance right. And we mustn't forget also to add on to this incredible achievement, that we were still injury ridden throughout the whole season with key players being out. Throughout the whole season, if you think about it, Gyökeres got so much abuse, and I think it was so unwarranted because he had to take on Kai's role right from the get-go, and I don't think that was the plan. Don't think that was the plan. So he had that on his head. You know, he had injuries to Saliba. Saka wasn't himself. Odegaard wasn't himself. We were effectively without our vice-captain and captain throughout the season. And somehow, with all these injuries and missing personnel, we found a way. And I think that testament goes to not only the manager, but the coaching staff, the people in the background, and also the players themselves. So the jubilation is almost compounded by that factor as well. But no one will ever talk about it because they just know how big our squad was. Well, we had to use every nuance of that squad, really, to get by, if you think about it. There were times when we had to bring the youngster on, Salmon on, didn't we, to cover. So it wasn't an easy ride. And then even though we weren't successful in the other cups, we made a quarterfinal and 2 finals. So, you know, we've got to take pleasure or rejoice in that as well, because, you know, to win the Prem, 2 finals and a quarterfinal, that ain't bad going. And to lose one tournament without actually having lost or being completely unbeaten in open play throughout the whole tournament and not coming out a winner. You know, that's heartbreaking. Crazy. But you can't do anything more. You know, the penalties are a lottery. So I think a round of applause goes to everyone involved, but also then another pat on the back to all the fans who, unbelievable scenes. You know, we didn't even kick the ball, and you had 100,000 people around the stadium in 10 minutes. We had, what did they say? Is it 1.5 million attended the parade?
Something like that. I don't think they've actually released the figures. I think I saw something like that, but I don't think they want to.
Yeah, they don't want to. Well, it's definitely the biggest showpiece in history, as far as I'm concerned. Beautiful red and white colours, just perfect. It tangibly set in stone that North London is red. Neighbours, take note, please. North London is ours. It is red. It always has been. It always will be. And that's the end of it. And that was tangible evidence. And also, if you think about it, even the day at Palace, where you know, before the parade, but even the scenes around the stadium at Sellers Park, it's, you know, we are massive. We are a massive footballing club, and I got nothing. I've just been walking around with a smile on my face. So that's what it meant to me.
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same. It's funny, obviously the World Cup's on at the moment, and you know, you're watching the Arsenal players, and you kind of look at it, point in the screen, saying, you know, he's won the Premier League. He just won the Premier League. He's won the Premier League. He's a champion. You know, he won the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? I was watching, watching Nkapé last night, thinking, okay, first of all, you know, seen him since obviously the Champions League final, but no, he's won the Premier League, mate. You know, so he's got that. They've all got that, and it's great to see him. And I know they're all kind of having some difficult, you know, not difficult, but some are having different fortunes to others. Obviously, Gyökeres scored, had a good performance the other night as well, which was good for him. But
and Kai, And
And
Kai,
yeah, Havertz as well. You just want them obviously to come back. You know, not really fussed about what happens during the World Cup. I'm not as plugged into it as I have been in the past because of what you just said, Neil. But yeah, just going to you as well, Bri, in terms of how you've been feeling over the last couple of weeks, and touching on like what Neil said about narratives. You know, the narratives around us. You know, let's get it right. Every pundit, you know, who's been spewing hate about us, every rival fan that's been spewing hate, they would, if you asked them would you want our season compared to theirs, they would all snap your hand off. You know, like no one's business. Even though City have won their 2 cups, they would want to have won the league and they want to have got to a Champions League final and been a penalty kick away from winning it. So, what's your thoughts just on obviously like the season and how you're feeling, and just the narratives? I mean, for me, the key thing is that Arteta beat Pep. He actually beat him before he exited. It's the first time he's lost. He's lost in an actual genuine title race in this country. You know, every title race he's been in, he's won. You know, obviously Liverpool won the title, but that was before COVID. I think they needed like a win or 2 wins to win the league. In any genuine title race that he's been in, it's the first one that he's lost. So how do you feel that will help him go forward, Arteta go forward, and just how you've been feeling over these last couple of weeks, bro?
Well, I think there's 3 things for me on the back end of particularly what Neil said. It was it is surreal. I think this is, you know, the season for me. I was probably at my most calmest because I've seen over the last 2 or 3 seasons the way things have generally panned out. But when we look at the very beginning of the season and what we brought in, the players that we brought in, I actually felt very calm. You know, I actually felt very, very calm. The other part has been vindicated. You know, I think the vindication was there with regarding to the second place finishes, the improvement of the squad to get us over the line. Third thing, London is red. Let's just get it right. London is red.
Yeah.
You know, we have won the most league titles out of any London club, okay, domestically. Doesn't matter about Champions Leagues and stuff like that. You can keep your Champions Leagues and stuff like that. But when it comes to domestic football, London is red. Okay, we've won the most league titles than any London club at the end of the day. So let's get that straight. So, you know, when it comes to what you know, media pundits and so on, that's the narrative that they should be looking at. The end of the day, how successful that we are generally domestically, you know, and we are, you know, when it comes down to it. And I think that's, you know, part of people's issues as well. I think again, our history as well does it. You know, that unbeaten season, 49 games as well, sticks in people's throats till now. You know, so you know, because no one else has effectively done it. We have done things domestically in this, you know, in this country more than any other London club at the end of the day. So that's where the problems people have the narratives with at this moment. I think with the Pep situation, look, we kind of noticed it from last season with City. I'm not saying they were necessarily going backwards, but it was a change for them. It was the greatest opportunity for us because we made use of the fact of going into a transfer market and picking out quality, and the opportunity to do that. Sport, you know, a big shout must go out to Berta at the end of the day, because I think he saw the opportunities, he saw what was lacking, and basically said to the Cronkies, this is what we're going to need. And this is what he said to Arteta, this is what we're going to need. If we really want to get across the line, this is what we're ultimately going to need. And, you know, subsequently, you know, as Neil quite rightly said, the squad, the whole squad played a part. And that was what we were asking for. And we've asked for seasons gone by as well, that we have a squad that will all play a part in us actually us getting over a line, and they did. Now, yeah, I think for as I said, for the City situation, look, we've now got the opportunity now of having our own little legacy. And it's quite funny. I'm kind of looking at the transfer window more than I'm looking at the World Cup at the moment.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's exciting me at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think excites a lot of Arsenal fans, especially obviously myself. I'm going to probably do a show next week, just talking about it. Hopefully, I mean, the window's open today. I know that there's been things happening behind the scenes, but it does look like it's going to be another big window from some of the stuff that's been coming out. I think you only got to look at what Liverpool did last season to try and think that, okay, we can see they won and they kind of strengthened in an area that probably people thought that, okay, but you need to strengthen in other areas, and they didn't really do that, and it seems and it bit them on the backside. So you kind of hope that we've learned from that, and we won't go crazy, but we'll get quality, up the levels a bit, raise the level, I should say. Because I think from what you've both said, absolutely, it's been a fantastic achievement from the guys. But I think, in a way, however painful it was, what happened in Budapest kind of keeps the hunger there. I think a little bit, because I think I've had a chat with you, Neil, in regards to, if we win. I think if we win the league, I almost think the players will kind of go, we finally got over the line. There might be a little bit of a drop off as such, because we've finally done it, all that time. But I don't think that's the case now. I think that they've got the fire in them to go again, and especially in the Champions League, knowing how close they came to it. So I think the hunger's definitely going to be there in that regards. And I think added to that and getting some quality in, the quality that they're talking about, I think it's there for us to do something which we haven't seen in our lifetimes. We haven't seen an Arsenal side successfully defend the Premier League, league title.
The 30s. Correct.
And that's unforgivable, really, because some of the teams that we've had, and we remember, what was it, in 02, 03, we should have won it again. We messed up in the running there. That was the one. I think was it Bolton away where we messed up? We were 2-0 up or something like that, and we threw it away, and then we lost to one game. I remember we lost to Leeds, and they were fighting relegation. They beat us 3-2 at Highbury, and David O'Leary was going crazy, and for some reason he had it for us. For some reason he really had it in the neck for Arsenal for some reason, even though he's our most record.
In was it the season after we did the double, the season that Man United won the treble, if Bergkamp had converted that penalty, I think we would have gone on to win the double that season.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have won the league then, because I think we would have been so buoyed by beating them. I mean, they were our main rivals, and it's a shame. Bergkamp.
That was definitely a sliding doors moment. That was
such fine margin there as well. So that's another opportunity there. So could have retained it that year.
Yeah. But I think there's a good chance that we address what we need to do. I think that's definitely going to be the left-hand side, and there might be a surprise exit, which some people are saying might be Zubimendi, might be Odegaard. We'll have to see how things pan out in the World Cup. But let's see. For Steve was supposed to be on tonight, but he's been busy. He's got some very important things to do and for people to be with. So thanks Steve for joining us. And he says, sorry you couldn't make it, but we are Premier League champions, of course. Absolutely. So let's get into some of the questions I had for you, I posed for you guys. And Neil, I'll come to you first. And it was kind of a bit, not the usual kind of questions. It's something slightly left field, it's slightly different. Get your thinking caps on. I think one of the first ones was, if you could put the season or encapsulate the season in one photo, what would it be? What would it be for you? I mean, there's a lot of easy questions, I guess you could say. Probably the one in the background. But what would you say? Was there a moment in the season that kind of summed it up for you?
Well, I mean, for me, the most obvious one is the Declan Rice. It's not done. Would sum it up, because that showed the mentality of the group and I think he was echoing not just himself but everyone really, and they truly believed it. They truly believed that it wasn't done, and I think that's almost like a build up of all the years where we've come second. We built up from the eighth, fifth, second, and then to win it. So it's been that progress slowly climbing the tree. So I think that would probably be the most obvious one. But if I wanted to sum up a moment, I've got two. Can I say both?
Yeah.
In terms of actual football play, if you want to go there, the Raya save was pivotal.
Yeah.
Against West Ham, it was huge. I mean, if that gone in, then it's all over. And then, of course, following that, the goal that then was thankfully disallowed. But he's got his arm being choked.
Yeah,
that could be another picture. But that's not really summing up the season. But I think the save is pivotal. But I'll be honest with you. I know you can look at many games and say that was a key moment, this was a key moment, that was a key goal, or whatever, or a key interception. For me, I'm still going to say, and I've said it all season, the key moment for me, and the one that sums up the season, because it was against Manchester City, was that unbelievable, and I think it's not talked about enough, and I think it's an unbelievable finish and an unbelievable goal by Martinelli, which was laid down by Eze.
Yeah.
I think that now, if you think about it, that would have been 3 points to them, but actually they ended up having 2 points less and we gaining the point on them, which made a lot of difference towards the end. And I think as that early on, people can say, well, that's too early, but you don't understand. I know you can pick up the moments, but this was against Manchester City, who we beat to the title. So for me, and it was such an amazing goal. I really honestly think it's one of the best goals I've seen, because his first touch and then the second was just exquisite. And the goalkeeper he had to beat is he's a damn fine goalkeeper. And to chip him like that in under pressure with no time left. Yeah. And this pass has to be given a lot of credit to. The assist has to be given a massive amount of credit. But if you just see the way he notices him run, and Martin is like, coming, I'm on, lay it on for me. Oh, I think that for me is the moment of the season. So Martinelli's finish. Yeah,
massive, huge moment. And the other question was for you was, give me a second, let me just bring it up. Was if you could put a statue out of a situation of a moment in the season, you probably already said it. Probably David Reyes.
No, Joe Hart's face. Joe Hart's face. Oh, that's good. And then I can chuck Darcy and I can let the pigeons do their business on it. It'd be brilliant. It'd be great. A statue. Oh wow. Again, Rice doing the thing. I think the statue would have to be Reyes' save, because I think again, as much as Martinelli's goal, I thought was a moment. I think that was another huge turning point. But you know what would actually make a better statue is Kai Havertz's leap against Burnley.
Yeah.
Saka's corner was exquisite. It was spot on. But that leap, my goodness me, for such a big man, he just towered over everyone else. So that would also make a fine statue. But Raya deserves credit. He has saved us so many times this season. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. He's got golden boot, and then golden boot outright. Raya for me. Yeah, that's
good stuff. Because before I come back to your last one, I'll go to Brian. So who do you think, Brian, was the kind of main protagonist of the season? The person that had the main character energy, the kind of guy that didn't sort of take no for an answer. And I think Neil's probably touched on it as well in his answer.
Well, look, I think that there's two, because there's one on the pitch and one off the pitch. Actually, for me, the one is obvious on the pitch was Declan Rice.
Yeah.
I think the timing of what he and his emotion that came out in the City game at that time, where City was celebrating like they'd won the league and stuff like that. For him to come out and say what he did at that time was pivotal. I think was pivotal. The other one I would say is actually Gabby Heinze off the pitch.
Yeah.
I think he's been he's been that kind of silent assassin, should we say, probably from the sideline. That's actually bolstered up our coaching team to get people across the line. You know, I think that personality that he has, that he brings into that kind of coaching squad and into the players, and kind of that respect I think the players have also got for him, for the person that he generally is and the character that he is, I think was pivotal. I think that, you know, and I think that's underrated to what people might think, because everybody will generally kind of think of the manager himself and what he's generally done and stuff like that, and, you know, set piece coaches and stuff like that. But he has been there by, you know, Arteta's side, but you can see what he does on the training ground with the players as well, with regarding to how his relationship generally is as well, and a winner at the end of the day. You know, he was a winner back, you know, when he played, and he's just installed that in the players, and I think that was pivotal, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, you know, you can't go too much away from Declan for what he did this season. That's for sure. You know, we all talk about armbands and stuff like that. Sometimes you just don't need to have it anyway to be the captain anyway, and be a leader on the park. And that's ultimately what he did. And if you go through the whole of the season, there's probably one or two games you could probably say Declan was a 7 out of 10. The majority of them was 8 out of 10. So that tells a story in itself upon just that quote. You know, it's not done for what he. You know, that was imperative.
That was it. Yeah. And it was funny. Obviously, it was funny that how Saliba kind of butchered the song on the parade bus when he was singing it wrong. I think he sang it 3 times, and each time he sang it, he said it wrong, and everyone came up. It was brilliant.
He's better off singing it in French, wasn't he? Really, it would probably been easier.
Yeah, he just sang it in French, innit? No one would have known. But yeah. And what was for you, Brian, what would be a moment of this season that would be talked about in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time from now?
You know what? I'm going to go slightly not obscure, but left field. But actually, Max Dowman's goal.
Yeah.
Actually, Max Dowman's goal, because the context of everything as well. It was a tough game. It was late on, but more to the fact of his own celebration when he scored, because it was kind of his own realities that he had basically. He's now part of this. He's actually etched himself into history, but he's actually a part of us. That goal will be a part of a season that ultimately is, you know, won us the league, and he was a part of that. And it was just his celebrations. The fact is, I'm not too sure what to do, so I'm going to kick a flag. I could injure myself because it rebound me back in the face. I'm going to look a right idiot. But ultimately, then running into the crowd, and that was a moment. That was a moment for me. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that was a special moment, and I think that will be something that will be talked about in a long time. I think Steve's in the chat, and he's mentioned obviously something that we've mentioned before earlier. Talk about the Champions League, as it will give us a little bit of hunger. Every year since our return to competition, we've gone a step further. Give us 3 years and we'll win it. Yes, fingers crossed. Hopefully. And Steve said, I know I glazed Hecker, but it was his corner to the habit. Said that, Mr. Consistency. Yeah, and even though he didn't have the greatest, his greatest season, obviously again he still comes up with numbers, doesn't he? And it's going to be interesting to see. One person I will be kind of keeping an eye on, in this World Cup is him, because I just want to make sure that he doesn't come back in an erect state, which they say he's nursing this Achilles in it, and there's a couple of players, I think Saliba as well is got issues, and there's talks of him maybe having surgery after the World Cup, which isn't great for us. But yeah, just hope. Steve said, that's a good shout. I did ask Steve a couple of questions. He probably put his answers in the chat, and that was unsung hero, cult hero, and heart attack moment. Heart attack moment, I'll take them. Heart attack moment was basically obviously the after review. That was I can't remember what my mind state was in then. I know the kids were here and everybody was here, and it was like, what the hell and everything. So that was definitely the heart attack moment. Thinking, oh Christ, this is it. It's all over. And thankfully, the rest is history for that. Unsung hero. That's a hard one. I think it might be. I think it might be for me. He's probably going to win the next category as well. But Hincapié, I think Hincapié's come in to do what he's done. He came in and had to play centre back, didn't he? Left side centre back for a while, and slotted in without any problems. Really, really solid. And obviously, he's done a job on the left hand side, and obviously played all the way through to the end, and then obviously in the Champions League final. So I would kind of give it to him. Mosquera was one as well. I would have given it to, but I think Hincapié. And the cult hero, I think, you've kind of got to give it to Ben White. But I think maybe Hincapié might get it as well because of his, for showing his a certain body part, and also Ben White as well for singing about it on the parade bus as well. So I think it's joint. I think it's a joint award for that trophy. I think Steve will be happy with that, with his mate getting some kind of recognition this season. Neil, what was there for you? Was there what was the most frustrating drop points that we've had this season? Obviously, we did drop a few, couple of gutting defeats. I remember the Villa one. That was horrible. That was absolutely devastating. Obviously, that picture with all the players on the floor. But for you, what was the one that you thought? Oh, how the hell did we drop points to that? But does it have to be a loss? It could have been just a draw.
It was a draw, I think. Wolves, wasn't it? 2-0.
Yeah.
I think for me that was the one, because Wolves bottom of the league, and I know I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Wolves, but when you've got the top of the league team playing the bottom of the league, and one's playing to try and win the title, the other one's kind of already out of puff. I know they weren't relegated at that stage. No, I don't think they were relegated, but they were close to being. And they haven't really got much to fight for, I wouldn't have thought. And yet they decide to be world champions, or we just decided not to play. That was the only thing that's the only thing that I do find with opposition teams. They tend to always raise the game against us. I've always likened it to Jimmy White and snooker. He used to, anyone could beat him. He was one of my favourite players, and all of a sudden you'd get a kind of mediocre player, and he would just raise his game against Jimmy White because it was Jimmy White. And I feel Arsenal are in that same mould. Whoever we play, whether it's in Europe or whether it's domestically, it doesn't matter. They might have 20 losses on the trot, and then all of a sudden they're all world champions. It's like, what the hell's going on? So. But yeah, the Wolves one for me was I think I might have been at that game. It was just that it was the display. It was awful. It really was. We to let that lead go, and this is when we were talking so much about not killing games off and not taking the bull by the horns. All right, and I'll say it again. I did criticise Arteta on numerous occasions about that. I've done over the last few seasons, but to be fair to him, he found a way this season. But next season, please, can we just beat everyone 6-0? I'd like that. That would be good. Next season, just get the players in. Berta. By the way, I think Brian, what you said about Heinze, but I think if you were to ask me who the signing of the season is, I'd say Berta, because Berta's made so much possible this season. And I hope I know he's not the type that will stay for a long time at a club, but if we can keep him for 2 or 3 seasons, wow, I think we're going to build up, hopefully, the foundations of something which could end up being a bit of a what's that word called? Dynasty, really. Dynasty. Yeah, I think it will. So, Berta for me is a good shout. And Ben White, I just want to say, was that at Edwards many years ago? You guys will remember. Was it when the milk bottles were being stolen? It was like the straw. There was a name for it. There was some straw. They used to show a straw or something, and it was stealing the milk bottles. It's a very, very old advert. Someone will remember. I think back in the 70s, 80s. I'll try and remember, and I'll remember the name. But it just reminded me of Ben White, the sunglass, the designer sunglass thief. Gyökeres lost his glasses. Odegaard lost his glasses. So if you ever want to go to a signing, Steve, and especially if you're listening, go to a signing for your hero, Benny Blanco. Don't wear your £2,000 designer glasses. They'll go missing, mate. All right. He's a character, isn't he?
Yeah. I just hope he recovers well. The saddest thing for me, I think, was watching the warm up of the when the players were training the night before in the Champions League final, and everyone was out there, and he was the only one on in the bench. He was sitting down watching. You know, he had his knee in a brace, and he was just sitting down watching it. I think it was just one other Arsenal member of staff with him. I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? He's kind of been there. I think that signing, that 50 million signing, the people were having a go at him and slating him off and saying, oh, how can you pay that much for someone from Brighton? That night at Brentford, on that Friday night at Brentford, when he got the mick taken out of him by Carragher and Neville, and him getting bullied, and then we get to, you know, he wins the league finally, but then he misses out on that, you know, just because, you know, just a you know, really sort of bad injury, you know, against West Ham. So yeah, felt for him. You know, rumours that he is going to be leaving, possibly, but it depends on how. He doesn't need surgery on the knee, so I imagine he hopefully will be back, maybe just end of pre-season, maybe, and then we'll see what happens. But let's see. Just you know, for myself, I mean, a couple of there's lots of images, obviously, as we know, that were very special last season, and obviously the one for me was the one when we lifted it, because I think that was something we dreamed of, you know, seeing for such a long time, and you know, I love seeing this because just your reaction on everyone's faces, and obviously, and I think the one from the parade, if I can just find it. The one I showed before, what is it? Which one was it? It was that one, wasn't it? So this one for me,
yeah, that's
not AI, that's not filter, that's genuine. That's the color of what it was when, you know, and the people on that roof, when you saw it live, and it just went on and on, and that's on top of Highbury Islington Station, right? And and that picture there is just unreal.
That will stand the test of time.
Yeah, they need to put this, you know, when they go into the Emirates. There's a couple of big pictures as the players go in to the dressing rooms. They need to blow that up, and they need to put that there, because that just encapsulates everything that the people that they've made those people come out there for that. They've done that, so they need to, you know, buy into that so much, man, because again, the numbers were insane on that parade. And just a couple more of my favorite photos before we go. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just make sure I get those ones up. So yeah, where is it? Here we are. So yeah, a couple of my favorite photos. So this one was special. Really like that one. And of course, the villain. Yeah, that's the favorite. I think that's a favorite one. That should be blown up and put in the Emirates as they walk in. Yeah, you know, I think that one should be there as well. I think you know, not that we've got to stay humble, of course. You know, don't we? Steve said we wouldn't have enjoyed it as much if it was a hard-fought win. Yeah, we showed unity and strength. I bribe Sabine with a burger nil. Yeah, burger. Or just give him a whole load of sunglasses so he can just throw wherever, you know, throw him around London, North London, you know, wherever he wants to. And yeah, obviously going forwards, Neil, obviously we will have a transfer show hopefully next week, and if there's anything, obviously, as you said, you know, what we need to improve and to go forward, to get that step forward. You know, what would it be? Is there anyone that you particularly like the sound of?
You know, I don't. Yeah, for me, that's always a tough one, because I never like to name drop, because I always get disappointed. So, I mean, yeah, the names have cropped up when you guys have been talking: Alvarez, Krupi, and Rogers, and you know, players like this, that Livramento. You know, they're all coming up, and they all sound good and exciting, especially Krupi. I think for me, when was it you that showed me that video when he's practicing?
When he's at his old club. Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah, crazy.
You know, when I saw that, it just reminded me of Ronaldinho. It really did.
Yeah.
His ball control is on next level.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's very exciting. I think he's an Arsenal player for me. I really do like him. So, you know, and then there's a few that I think that you guys are talking about already that whilst watching the World Cup. But I think I'll just talk about positions if you don't mind, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The first and most important one, I don't think Kepa will stay. I think he wants first team football. I don't know who will have him, but I've never really been impressed with him when he's played. I've always felt nervous. Yeah, he can save penalties, which is something Ray's got to work on. If Ray's got an Achilles heel, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But you know, I think we need a number 2 keeper. That's the first thing. Obviously, if Ben White is going to depart, it's going to make me very sad. But you know, I think he deserves more playing time. He's still a decent player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if he does go, we're going to need someone else there because, look, as much as Mosquera does a good job there, I still think he's more of a central defender. And I just think, you know, Timber, he's obviously first choice. He's I think one of the best in the world in his position. But I think if he was to sustain another injury, or just to give him rest, because obviously we're playing so many games, so we're going to win the quad. So we'll be playing so many games. So, you know, I think we need a right winger. So, a right back there. So number 2 keeper, right back. I think on the other side, the central defence is fine. The other side, you know, we've got. I know Jack and James were talking about potentially Calafiori leaving. I don't want that. I love Calafiori. I think he gives us the attacking options up front. I'm actually, in my gut, I've got a feeling he's not going to go. So we've got him. We've got Hincapié. Worst comes to us, MLS can still drop back there and do a job. So I don't think there's any problem. So then I think maybe an attacking midfielder potentially. I mean, you know, you've already mentioned that. I mean, Norgard, I felt sorry for him. If there was any failing from Arteta this season, I think he's not giving Norgard enough minutes was one of them. I think he's an amazing person. I think he's done a lot for the squad in, you know, behind the scenes. I mean, he was big enough to go and congratulate MLS, even though it effectively had taken his position in that game. That was such a lovely and classy thing to do. But I think he just deserves to play. And I think he'll go. And then, of course, if you're talking about Zubimendi, potentially Odegaard, I think we're going to need another player in that middle of the ranks to come in. And then, you know, hopefully that will bolster that. But for me, the most important positions are the left winger, because one of Trossard and Martinelli both, I think, will go. Yeah. And then, of course, Jesus is going to go. And I know we've got Gyökeres and I know we've got Caio. I rate both of them highly. I still think if we can get that central attacker, forward striker, I think we're gonna blow teams apart. We're gonna blow teams apart. So I would say 4 to 5 players. And if we can get 4 of them, and just to bolster the squad, Jesus will go. So, you know, that will free up a lot of the wages. I think we would have done well. And with Josh making that comment that I'm going to support it, I'm going to give the resources. That was a very strong statement by him, a statement of intent. So I think that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's definitely going to be exits. I think then, as I said, we will lose a few this window, but that's part of progressing. Sad to see a few go, but we must be ruthless to move forward. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Jesus will go, and Norgard will definitely go, and one or both of Trossard or Martinelli will go. That left hand side. Like you said, with what Josh has said, particularly what Arteta said after the PSG game, that we need more individuality, sort of difference makers, basically, or what people who can make the difference. And I think that's definitely what's been lacking in our attack. To be perfectly honest with you, Saka could do that. He was able to do that, but he hasn't been, because obviously since the injuries and since the hamstring one. What's your thoughts on it, Brian, in terms of the window and what you'd like to see? Obviously, there's talk of Morgan Rogers coming in as well, which will be really, really exciting and a great addition. But what's your thoughts?
Look, we could probably banter around a number of names. that we would like or have been rumoured to come into the club and stuff like that. What we've got to look at, let's get down to the practicalities of it. We played 63 games out of 65 last season, so we're going to have to look at a squad that is going to have, you know, you're going to up your levels by at least 20%, basically, on the standard of player that we have this season going into next season, if we're going to compete in another 60-game season potentially. So it will generally kind of mean is that, you know, we are going to lose, and we've said, as Den said, and Neil quite rightly said, we are going to lose players. But if those particular players, if we get more quality that comes in, which is going to give us that another 15-20% on that quality, I'm happy that the board, the manager, you know, Berta and himself will bring that particular quality in. We can mention names all day long. You know, we can always say, yeah, Morgan Rogers, would he bring the extra 15-20% that we generally need? Where will he fit into that squad as well, as in the fact of positioning? When you've just brought a £60 million Eze in there, does that generally mean, are we going to lose Odegaard? If that is the case, he will be the kind of a natural replacement in that area of the park as well. The obvious vacancy we have is on the left wing anyway. You know, yes, we could lose both of them. You know, we totally understand that. But ultimately, if we lose both of them, we might have to replace with both, with two, to be honest with you, because you keep a Martinelli as a squad player like he actually was last season and did a job when he needed to do jobs. He scored goals in the Champions League when we needed him to score goals in the Champions League. Got a vital one against City. We may turn around and say, well, you know, he wasn't consistent enough. But as a squad player, he came in and did what he needed to do at times when we needed him to do it.
Yeah.
But we're going to need someone in front of him at the end of the day, you know. And again, for Martinelli, that would be, he might just look for regular football. So again, the option that is gone already. He'll be off. You know, I think Trossard's situation, I think he's earned a move away at the end of the day. He's done so much for us. He's earned a 2 or 3 year contract elsewhere. To be honest with you, I think in other areas, look, I think another striker would always be great. We still got to this conundrum around Kai Havertz. For me, is still one that bugs me a little bit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because we're not asking him to play. We don't think he's a suitable number 9. But we play him there anyway when we have to. Where else do we put him in the pitch? Is he a left 8? We don't think so. Is he a 10? Possibly. It's that situation with Kai Havertz, which I have an issue with. What we're seeing from Victor Gyökeres, you know, he's a centre forward, out and out centre forward, scores goals. Got to have people that can provide him with that ammunition for us to get the best out of him. I think that's quite simple. People don't, you know, may not necessarily rate him on other sides of things, but you can see he's probably one of the best, our best finisher in the club. To be honest with you, he's deadly when he's in front of goal. So we can't lose that as well. So it's kind of what that centre forward, the other centre forward, we kind of bring in. I know the Alvarez situation there as well. Again, he's slightly different as well. Not necessarily the focal point.
Yeah. He probably brings more like more of a Gabriel Jesus type of striker, where he can go the other way, but he can go both ways. You know, you can flit around and stuff and link play a lot more and stuff. Whereas you got Gyökeres as your more focal point, and you kind of hit him and stuff like that. And then obviously Havertz is, you know, a bit of a jumble, really, isn't he? Like, you know, in terms of how he play when he's up front. Yeah,
but look, I think in and around the midfield area, again, I think we've had a bit of a luxury with that Miles has come in and played into that he played himself into that position. And I think it's Christian Norgard. You know, Neil, you're absolutely right. You know, how that man did not get them more minutes than he did, I really do not know in certain games, to be honest with you. I don't understand it. to me, it generally means is that you are going to keep Marino as well, to that extra man in midfield as well. So it allows Christian Norgard to, to ultimately leave the club, and get he's quit international football as well. So so look, there's as I said, I think that the actual club have just got to make sure that they get the right players in that is going to bring another 15 or 20% improvement to our performances. In as I said, in potentially it's a six. We've got to look at it now. We're potentially playing 60 games a season.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty confident that after what Berta has done last season, in terms of not raising the ceiling but raising the floor as such, in terms of like what the numbers in terms of what we've got to choose from, I think definitely now is about raising the quality, and because I think we've said it. How many times have we said it last season that we've not played well? We can play so much better. We were in so many games where it was like high stakes. We had a 1-goal lead and we went 1-0 up and we tried to control it a bit, and then we kind of maybe got another one late or conceded one, and then we got into a bit of a dogfight, and then we've all said it, and I think that all came down to the attack. It just wasn't at the level of the defence just last season, and the defence won us that league. No matter how many times you look at the defence won us that league, with obviously, and it was these guys basically won us the league. Obviously, you could add Raya to that as well. To be fair, Raya should be added to that photo, but those guys were the ones. If you're adding, a couple more attackers to that, then Neil, you're right. We are going to be winning those games 5-6-0. We are going to be winning the league with 90 plus points. If we can keep the level up, but so much depends on the window and the condition of these players after this World Cup, because it's going to be so brutal for not just us, for everyone. The only team that I'm kind of concerned about is Liverpool, because they haven't got that many players at the World Cup at all. So they've kind of got a free run at the pre-season, whereas a lot of other teams, City have got the most players at the World Cup. Then it's us, I think. So you've got all those players that, depending on where they get knocked out, are going to be allowed to have additional times leave. But the fact that we're a settled team in essence, that could mean work in our favour. Obviously, depending on who we get in, especially if it's attackers, then you need them to sort of fit in and get used to the system and Arteta's structures and stuff like that. So,
for me, Rice is the biggest worry. It really is, because he's kind of non-stop. He's worked so goddamn hard. As Brian quite rightly said, rare 7 out of 10. So all his games 8 out of 10, which means he was all over the place and he was working his socks off. So he's not only done that for us, I'm sure, and you know how he is. He's going to do the same for England if England go far. So how much rest is this man going to have? I love the way he spoke, actually. I mean, I'm not really got into the World Cup yet, but I did see that interview where he's been made vice captain, and he's like almost, well, no, everyone's a captain. He's like, I might be unofficially, but, and he's like, he's so humble with it. And I think, and that is the reason why he should be captain. That's the whole point. I would like to see a change in the captaincy next season. I really do. I would love to see Rice or Gabriel take it now. I think they deserve it. I know you don't have to have the official title, but I think for me, I'm old school. I've always said it. I think it means a lot. And I think we need one focal player who will be the one that you go to. Doesn't matter if you've got X number of players that are all leaders on the pitch. I still think you need one sergeant major on there. And I think Rice or Gabriel fit the bill for me. So I think there has to be. I think that's another thing that I would like to see change. But whether it happens or not, I don't know.
That's going to be interesting. Scenario to see what happens if Odegaard does go, then that opens it up. But then you look at Saka's vice captain. Does he get promoted to being captain, seeing as Arteta was the one that made him vice captain? Does he then overlook him and give it to Rice, who he did say that he was kind of voted as the captain but that was when Saka and Odegaard were out still. So it wasn't like he was, Saka was available to play in that situation. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I mean that as well, and the transfers. It's going to be really interesting to see who we get in. I think that the club, from what we've been told, is that they know exactly who they want to get in. Berta's just doing what Berta wants to do, in terms of having lots of plates spinning, and then he's just going to pull the trigger on one or two and just keep everybody in the dark and stuff. We can sign one person, and that's Steve. He's offered his services. He said he could start to sign him. He said he's available on a free as well. He does say I'm unbearable, so I don't know whether Arteta would like that at all as well. So don't call him; he'll call you, Steve. So but yeah, we'll close there. We'll leave it there, gents. Thank you so much.
Can I just say about the Champions League? Sorry, I know we didn't touch on it much. I just want to say that, and I'm sure you'll echo. Both of you will echo this. I think we have to be extraordinarily proud of the team to have got there. We went unbeaten in open play. It's not an easy competition. It's bigger. There's more games. We to do what we did. I think we conceded 7 goals in open play in the whole 7 goals against some of these teams who are incredible, and to go out like that, that's just a lottery. It could have happened to anyone, and I don't think. I mean, I went to the screening like you did, Michael, and look how did the fans react? We weren't upset. We were just applauding. That was just so nice to see that no one got on the players' backs. And the way I see it, in a weird way, in parallel to the Premiership, we got 3 second places and a win, so that's the 4th attempt. This time we've got a quarter-final, a semi-final, a final, and our 4th attempt will be the win. So I think it's going to be like that next season. For me, the treble is guaranteed, possibly a quadruple next season.
Fingers.
But I think what, Neil, to echo that, actually, particularly around the Champions League, I think it was certainly an eye opener for what could be and what way that we might want to play next season as well, because I'm not too sure the style that we will win us necessarily the Champions League again, because people will look at us in a particular way. But if we go there with more quality going forward, I think that's where our chances will become a lot more greater, because people will fear us that we will how we defend, but they will fear us even more going forward. And I think that will be where the changes, I think, when it comes to the transfer aspect of it, and what the staff will look at is what more can we do when it comes to the Champions League, where we have to break better teams and match them going forward. Because when you look at the game in isolation, we didn't really match them going forward that much. But if we had that a bit more quality going forward and a bit more threat going forward, we know the defense will take care of itself. Basically, it will become even harder to beat.
That's the key thing for me. Is it's the fact that it's all about getting the balance, getting the balance right. And the team that has that pretty much almost is PSG. They've got a good defense, but you can get at them. Whereas we've got a really rock solid defense, but then our attack isn't, like you said, isn't at the levels where individuality. I keep getting that word wrong. They're free compared to our free. They don't need to have much possession of the ball. They don't really need to work on a pattern of play, like we've seen, where it goes from left to right and it goes back again and it goes 5. You can just go to Kvaratskhelia, you can go to Dembele or Doué and bang. It's like we haven't, like I said, we haven't got that threat of that X factor, and I think that's the difference. And if we get that and we can lean into that defensive shape still, and it's still kind of solid, because this is the thing, it has to be a balance there. And that's why I think Rice is the key to all this, because if he's fit, then it's fine. But if he's not, there needs to be somebody that comes in who has the kind of similar attributes in terms of athleticism and be able to get around. And, You saw that with Buadi last night. That's why I say that he's the one, because
The Moroccan
he can do that. Yeah, he can do that, and he can play as well. So, a bit like Rice. So I think, if Rice is there, he's the glue that sticks the defense to that elite attack if we get it, as well. And so it's exciting, because I think if we get the attacking players right, and we've still got that defensive unit we've still got Gabriel Heinz doing what he's doing. There's rumours that we're meant to be getting an attacking sort of coach, because they've seen what Heinzer, they've seen what Heinzer has done, with the defensive unit, as well as and he's worked within Arteta's structure. So you need an attacker to do the same thing. So apparently that's the rumour, that they're looking at an attacking sort of coach to come in and do the same thing. If that happens and it works, then you are looking at multiple Premier Leagues. You're looking at a double. You're looking at, do you know what I mean? The sky's the limit. So fingers crossed.
Just also to say one more final thing, and I will shut up, I promise. The referee did not help us in that final, and that. It was
no. Yeah.
But look, it is what it is. I mean, we've had to deal with that for decades. So there's nothing new there. All we need to do, I remember Jack said it, we just outplay the teams to mitigate the rubbish that we always seem to be subject to. So that's what I think that's what Brian said. We just enhance it and we go that one step further next season.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So before we go, let's have a look at one last picture. This was one, I think it's a nice one. And kind of sums it all, sums it up.
Oh, that's lovely.
The evolution of the club. Obviously the previous years of the badge. I would like them to change the badge. Actually, I think it's just be nice for a refresh. I don't like it really. It's a bit too cartoonish. But yeah, history. The trophy's back where it should be.
Beautiful.
And long may it continue. And as Steve says, thank you, Steve. A great show, guys. In case anyone doesn't know, we are Premier League. Yeah.
Can we also just celebrate their 17th place with that guy? Just trying to figure out who they are. Just one more time.
Oh,
yeah. Why not? Let's celebrate their 17th place, shall we?
Sorry though. Yeah, I actually deleted that because I was too much space.
Well,
psych.
Do you know Tottenham? What? Tottenham Hotspur?
Topspur?
No.
What's that?
you never heard of them?
No.
That's never going away, man. That's never going.
I love it. That's a brilliant place to end. I love it.
Yeah, and on that note, just going to say, Brian, thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. You've been brilliant all season. Same as you, Neil. Really appreciate you guys taking the time out to talk about this amazing club. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for jumping in the comments. Thank you for your input this season. Thank you for everyone that's kind of watched the show. We've kind of got some good numbers this year. Really, really appreciate it. And, jumping on, however long you want to jump on, fine, it's great. Really appreciate it. We don't take anything for granted. Everybody that's come on, the cast list is long. Cornelius, Melvin, James, Dean, Callie, I think, came on earlier at the start of the season. And I'm going to forget some names. I hate when I do it. Mac as well. Obviously, Mac, he's a busy man, but when he gets the time, he likes to come on.
The vlog guy, man. The vlog guy.
The vlog guy, Daniel James, the guy with the golden season tickets. He's done so much as well for the show with the vlogs as well.
Nick?
Nick as well. Nick Brenny, that's come on as well recently. Been great additions to the show. Obviously, Lauren as well. She's not been on much season, but
we've got to get her back.
Don't know where she's is at the moment with her show and everything, but she's been great coming on. And anyone that I've forgotten, really, really sorry. Just getting old, so that's my excuse. But thank you for everyone that's been part of the show.
Amazing.
We'll be back hopefully, like I said, next week. Or if not next week, it'll be the week after, where we talk about some transfers, and then obviously following the World Cup and everything, we'll see what happens. If there's a massive transfer that comes in, we might do an emergency stream and talk about it. Hopefully that'd be nice to do. But if not, we'll be back. The start of the season. with a new intro, new gold plated. I'll say, or that's all I'll say. It'll be very lots of gold in it, and talk about obviously this amazing club and what we've done over the summer. So really appreciate it, everybody. Have a lovely rest of the week. Have a lovely summer out if you don't see us till the new season. And yeah, we're Premier League champions, and this is just the beginning as well, isn't it? That's the exciting thing. This is just the beginning.
Arsenal above all.
Yep, absolutely. And on that note, see you later. Take care, guys.
Okay.